From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training podcast, reporting from the frozen tundra of North America. We're all freezing right now. Anyway, Miss Vicky, we have a guest.
We do.
One of our faves.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hi.
His name is Scott. He likes to say hi.
Hi.
Welcome, Scott.
Hi. How are you?
So, Mr. Robertson,
Yes,
you've had quite the year.
Yeah, it's been different, but it's been good.
Yeah.
Different by design.
Little conscientious, hey, let's be nice to future Scott and let's race when we're racing and instruct when we're instructing, and never between the two shall meet in most instances. Is that did that scheme work out for you?
Yeah, it's a very intentional decision this year. I had been doing a lot of instructing and driving on the same weekend. And, as things do, everything progresses. So I kept wanting to get more competitive, but also wanted to, be a better instructor. And so, kept pouring more and effort into both of them. And, really for 3-4 seasons, I've just plateaued as a wheel-to-wheel driver and wasn't enjoying it very much anymore. And was just kind of wondering, like, why am I doing it this way? And so I was kind of ushered the opportunity to take what started as instructing with organizations and move that into coaching of my own, and decided that, well, let's do coaching on these weekends where I only coach. I'm not trying to do, work with an organization. I'm not trying to race. I'm only there to coach. And, but I wasn't done with competitive driving either. I wanted to, I wanted to see if I still had it, sort of thing.
Or at least a piece of it, right?
Yeah. And the desire is definitely still there. And turns out through some experiences this year, I might not be as bad of a driver as I thought I was, as I thought I might have been the last few years. So it's been all positives.
So you had, if I recall, in the Wayback Machine, you had a bit of a struggle bus with your Miata engine setup routine. I'm being nice.
Yeah. 2023 was a hard year for the 23, 24?
I think
24.
It was 4, yeah.
Yeah. 24 was a hard year for engine things.
Through no fault. It's just, this is how engine things go when you change them. They always, while you're in there, and then while you're in there, turn into, hey, maybe this, and then, can't leave well enough alone. And then you end up pretty much writing a season off because of intermittent or consistent issues of unknown origin that are very easy once you figure them out, but not easy in this situation. So combining that with your excellent coaching and I know your priorities are with your students and the results that you got. I mean, besides Peter missing by like 0.003 seconds, I mean, you pretty much had a more than a modicum of success, shall we say. Uh, it's not surprising you down selected and said, listen, I can focus on one thing and one thing only because I'm not really good for myself and my driving, or I'm not really good at helping my students, and neither one of those is worth doing halfway. So, you
Right.
know, I think it was a wise decision because, if you're going to work that hard, you might as well do endurance racing and just totally kill yourself.
Do
Yeah.
you do you feel like you're just hitting burnout?
I don't think it was burnout. Um, I think what it was is I was beginning to question a whole lot of my skills and abilities and um, you know, is it worthwhile putting this much effort and resources into, whether it's the car, my driving, coaching, things like that. Like it's just, but what I felt like I was actually running up against was just a bandwidth limit on
Hmm.
a given weekend. There's only so much that I can do. And there was a good year and a half in there where I was not only working with Grid Life, the racing organization, I was also coaching one or two drivers of on my own and trying to drive competitively. And there's just no time in there. So the whole idea of reviewing my own video, my own data, thinking over what I need to do just with kind of how I am as a person, that was the last thing that got worked on.
Hmm.
And so my position with Grid Life and my coaching clients, they would always come first. And so basically I would just keep an eye on the time. It's like, all right, half an hour to race. All right, now I need to go get ready to get in the car.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
but I didn't really like think of like where I really dive in, like where can I improve? What do I need to work on? And so I was just met with the same limitation, race weekend after race weekend for really for years.
Yeah.
You just sounds like you just need to break apart whether you're going to be coaching or you're going to be racing. A-
Exactly.
And just you can't do it all at one time.
Exactly. And I think I certainly think it would be different. I've spoken with you guys and as well as some other drivers about you're doing coaching and endurance racing. I think that's a little bit different because, you're sharing a car, you're out of the car for longer, but like you're really just able to focus on one place and one time. But when I
Oh,
was working with the organization, it's like I'm looking at when I have to be at this meeting, and then right after this meeting, I need to be on grid to help direct traffic. And then right after that, I've got like 20 minutes before I need to get in the car. And then right afterwards, I need to meet with this drive. Like it was
That
just,
sounds exhausting.
yeah. And that was 3 days per event,
And then the hangover took over.
yeah. And then it's like, man, like it's just not that much fun
You you need
anymore.
pacing. You need pacing. You need to
And
pace yourself.
and so that's what this year was about, was
Hmm.
to kind of do a hard line divorce between my driving, especially my competitive driving, and my coaching. And with really only doing coaching on the weekend. And granted, I'd still have like 5 drivers. It's not a slow weekend for me, but really was had a lot more energy, a lot more focus to give
Hmm.
those drivers. Enjoyed it a whole lot more. Wasn't as exhausted at the end of the day. Still tired for sure, but wasn't exhausted. And then on those weekends that I went out and drove, like I broke my personal best at my home track twice this year that stood for 4 years. Um, and honestly, it's probably one of the worst laps I've ever driven at that track, it felt like. And I still comfortably broke my PB. So it's like,
Hmm.
there's margin there. And,
Mm-hmm.
the one lap of America, which was at the very beginning of the year, we went in with a very strict, straightforward plan, and that went remarkably well too.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many years have you been doing this already?
The one lap,
No, just between your coaching and driving.
um, I've been doing instructing or coaching and driving since 2019.
Yeah.
And this year was the first year that I divorced the two. So 5 years.
So doesn't it feel like popping a bubble?
What do you mean?
Well, um, sometimes when we start out at this,
Mhm.
we have so much adrenaline and we're building and we could do it all and we're just wrapped up in the joy of it,
Sure.
and then things start taking a shift a little bit, and then it's it's not that it's not fun. It's just that letting the air out of something is
Mhm.
what it feels like. It's like you've been holding everything up for so long and trying to keep
Sure.
everything balanced and juggling the balls. You're juggling the balls, and all of a sudden you just let everything fall. Because I mean, it's the adrenaline that keeps us going, but once you realize that the adrenaline's not there because now it's becoming work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think how I would put it is like you said, it's almost like the beginning of a relationship.
Hmm.
You've got those romantic jitters and you've got that spark and that fizzle and stuff like that. Um, and that will sustain you through some excruciating times.
Yes.
Um, but it's not sustainable.
Hmm.
And now I'm speaking of racing in particular.
Hmm.
That the effort and the work. I mean, we used to drive our race car to the track, and we did that for very specific reasons. Um, but there was a point where we chose to start to tow it for sustainability reasons.
Hmm.
Um, and then even after that, definitely can't say it got easier, definitely got different after that point.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But still, Becky was always kind of a vital, integral part of my racing and of hers as well, of course. But without her on those race weekends, like the car wouldn't have gotten touched very much because I had other things to do when I wasn't in the car. Where, a lot of the other drivers I raced with, they had friends, if their friends needed help, certainly they'd lend a hand. But really, for the most part, on the weekends, they are there to race and hang out. And if they're not in the car, they can work on their car, they can look at their data. And I just hadn't been able to do that. And so my pace that I had in, 2021, it's really about the pace I had in 2024. And everybody else just kept getting quicker. And I was just kind of holding on by my teeth and just wasn't really enjoying it
Hmm.
because I just couldn't put in what I wanted to be competitive. And it's not that I was getting less competitive. And it's not that I didn't want it as much anymore. I was just getting tired of experiencing it the way that I had been and only putting in the amount of time and energy as I was. The only way was to split the two, even if that means that I stopped doing wheel to wheel for a period of time.
Hmm.
I mean, the other, it's frustrating is the wrong word, but you're not judging yourself based on prior Scott. You're judging yourself based on your competitors, and your competitors are growing, and your competitors are nasty alien people in some slash most of the cases with the water that you swim in. So you're even unfairly judging yourself against this moving,
Absolutely.
shifting.
Absolutely.
It's just it's not really. It's kind of like when I was when I went to engineering undergrad. You start thinking like you go in there thinking, I'm pretty smart. And then you get there and you're like, I'm an idiot. But you're just judging yourself against a different pool.
Yeah. That was my experience with going into grad school. So I'd always considered myself a fairly intelligent human being, and I was the dumb kid in my grad program.
Yeah. It's a the way I used to put it, I'm not sure it's the best way to put it, but I used to say, don't judge your inside by somebody else's outside. And this applies in this instance as well,
Yep.
because, you're not going to feel good about your driving when you're sitting there saying, gee, Tomo is so much faster than me, or Eric Teal is able to do this. And I can't do that. I mean,
Yeah. I
it's
I
hard.
think I was fortunate in that I learned that pretty early on. When GLTC's first year was 2019, which I was there for. And then in 2020, I did much better brakes, much wider, stickier tires, and a K-swapped engine in my Miata. Like I was going so much faster on track, and my results were the exact same as
Right.
they were in 19.
Because they keep moving.
Just because more cars came in, they were quick and everything. And it was at that moment I knew, well, one, I've got a long way to go, but two, like I've got to be in this to improve on myself. And so every time I went out, I would see if I'm more aware than I was last time. Is my raw pace better? Am I better at passing? Am I better at defending? Like all these things I could measure against myself. I think some of the, if I can put it, the silliest goals to go into any race weekend is to have a finishing position in mind. I think that is the silliest thing you could show up with.
No, I mean, you're setting yourself up for failure, really.
Yep.
I mean, because you can't control the competition, what they can do or what they bring. I mean, looking back at when you did your Miata upgrade, all that did was let you fight fair because you were catching up to where they already were.
Exactly.
It's not like you sat there and said, my program is now superior to yours. You're just, you know, catching up, and they're still doing their stuff. So you're catching up to where they were, not where they're going to be. And you don't know where that is. I mean, just look at F1 when you sit there and you say, oh, I got everything down. And then you show up and you're like, oh, I don't have anything here. So,
Yeah. Well, the beginning of those new regulation seasons, whatever professional business racing series it is always exciting to me because nobody has really any idea where any other team is. They're just showing up with what they think they have
this is
is
my
the best.
my solution, right?
Yes. And then all of a sudden they start looking at everyone else. They're like, oh, they did that. That's interesting, and then the crosstalk starts and whatnot. So
Yeah. I mean, Mercedes had the zero side pods, right? They were great until the car started bouncing off the concrete or asphalt. But,
yeah, car was never great.
no.
That was a. Do you ever hear that partly came down to their wind tunnel and
The correlation to the tunnel, that's what
it was the type of floor that they were using. It's kind of wild, but
such smart people can do some, you know, serious misses.
you know,
Anyway. All right. So how did it work for you? I mean, better when you diversified yourself and focused?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Coaching was again, I was able to focus more, give them more of my time and energy. Didn't have to like rush off anywhere in particular, unless I've got another client I need to meet with. And yeah, really, really kind of leaned into that, enjoyed it. And then on the weekends when I went to the track and to drive. My non-driving responsibilities were minimal, and I could go out there and just really try stuff, feel it out. And every time I went out, I set personal bests or, fix something of consequence.
Excellent. Did you know that I'm guessing that this also helped Becky, either
Also,
being well, her driving and or being happier with Scott when Scott got home.
yeah.
Take your pick.
Well, she was always there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that we have any more time together, but I'm always kind of at our trailer now. Like I'm never like really gone. Like
Hmm.
she's the one going down to hot pits to take tire temps and
Right.
with our drivers set up and stuff like that. Um,
But
but
Scott's
yeah,
less grumpy, right?
not just less grumpy even, but I just have more energy.
Mm.
There's much less walking unless like I just want to go walk around the paddock, which honestly, again, until this season, I hadn't really been able to do that for like 2 years
Yeah.
and just some basic stuff like that. So that was definitely good. But like you suggested, we also had the weekends where Becky would drive and she
Right.
got to have some good weekends. And I was there for her.
Right.
I might have had one or two other coaching clients or working with a different organization or something like that, but I was there and helping her do stuff. And she's, put a whole lot more effort in her car and her driving. She's doing better than she ever has. So it's, just kind of going well.
Yeah. And I can just imagine, it I had this hit me last year, well, this year, 2025. It was like it got to the point where I was like, well, actually it was towards the end of 24, but is this juice worth the squeeze? Because it is
Exactly.
all consuming. And
It can be.
our personalities make it worse, right? If it's kind of like when we lived in Hawaii, everyone's like, "Oh, it's really expensive." It's like, no, it's not really expensive because you don't have most of the bills you have. But there is a capability for you to spend as much money as you have and more. Not a problem. It's just like racing. You can spend as much time or money as you want and
Mhm.
more and still not be done because you're never done.
And if you want to be competitive,
Yes.
it's very easy to have the ends justify the means,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
and that is not sustainable.
Well, it's really good when your significant other is also a racer because then it's like, do we need a turbo? Yes, yes, we do. Yeah,
Yeah, this is. Yeah, we also have a crate engine for a Mazda 2 sitting in the garage right now, and that's
because you have to. I mean, it's required.
we can save that story for another time.
So is that going to be the strategy for next year?
Which one?
Uh, Keep separation of church and state. We're going to have instructing weekends, and we're going to have competitive weekends separate.
Yes, yeah, that is the plan. I am going to continue to lean into coaching. I'm really enjoying it. I'm of the age that I was never under any illusions that I was going to become a professional race car driver. Um, but I think I could become a pretty darn good coach
Yep.
if I kept working at it and kept at it. And I want to continue to grow and develop as a coach, reach out to different clientele and different paddocks. And that is the theme of 2026 for me is get into different paddocks, meet different people,
Mm-hmm.
and continue to do this even more so than I did last year. And probably it's going to be even less competition driving for me, theoretically. About a month or so ago, I decided to. Um, I don't have a listing for it yet, but I am going to be selling the Miata come spring.
Really?
And if it sells,
No,
hey, if you want to buy it, we can keep it in the
stop.
family. But if it sells for what I would like to sell it for, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to continue to drive it and improve on it and stuff like that because it is a very competitive GLTC car or ST5 car as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
And so I'm going to keep working at it.
Yeah. So it's surprising because you have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that car.
I've gotten it to the point where is a pretty exceptional car at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Shocks are good, brakes are good, engine is very good, electronics are excellent, the ergonomics are perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Aero's good. It's really just continuing to work with setup and trying out tires
Right.
and, the
It,
nut behind the wheel.
yeah. Well, it's one of those cars that, if somebody were to ask me about it, it's one of those cars where, listen, you go compete, and if you're not winning, it's not the car.
Yep.
Or not winning, like doing well.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah.
So next year's plans, I mean, we have thoughts on what we're doing, and I was just wondering what you were thinking you were doing.
Yeah. I'm going to be coaching and I want to see if we can make some stuff happen. I saw the list that you sent to me.
Mm-hmm. It's a
And
preliminary list. Still TBD. We have not seemingly had a moment to talk to anybody on the team about it, but that's kind of I think this is what we're doing.
sure. Yeah, easier for me to see up here. Yeah, so the dates that it looked like would work for me to do something in person. You were looking at NJMP early
Mm-hmm.
June.
Yep.
You're looking at Thompson early August
Yep.
and Summit Point end of October.
And there may be another addition to the schedule that hasn't been announced yet. So,
Okay. But those three for me currently, I can make something happen for those.
well, let's talk about the fun part.
Okay.
You mentioned dipping your toe into endurance racing, and we love nothing more than doing that. So, is that seemingly potential for you and or Becky?
I mean, you don't have to twist my arm very hard to get into any car and drive it around a racetrack. So that'd be, pretty easy to do.
But you'd have to drive for like several hours that weekend, Scott. I mean, I don't want to inconvenience you, or
Sounds terrible.
I know it's so bad, so bad.
I'm actually, I here's my justification is I'm getting a new race suit this winter.
Nice.
Because the one that I have is the one I bought back in 2017
Oh no.
and it has seen a lot of life and it was never a great suit to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the one that I could afford and it's just kept working and it's really to the point where the zipper works most of the time
Yeah.
and it's heavy and it's hot and it's like I I can do a new suit now, so that's going to be my thing this winter. But if what's the point of having a suit if I'm not going to drive? So
That's kind of it, and some of the suits when you first get in, when you do the suit upgrade, you realize that the suit that I was wearing in the middle of 90 degrees and 95% humidity on a good day in a race car is like wearing a quilt. And not
exactly. I do put my current race suit on when I'm cold.
yeah,
So that is like my snowsuit of sorts.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can keep it for the winter races.
Good. I definitely will. There's no reason I'm getting rid of it.
So now that you've decided that you're shifting, overall, what was the highlight of your year so far?
I'll kind of separate it out. I I get a lot of pleasure from not only my own performances, but also in helping others get to do better themselves. And so
Mhm.
when some of my drivers perform very well or have a result that they didn't think that they would be able to get and things like that, that is very affirming and very fun for me to watch. So in terms of my own performance, This year, certainly it was the one lap of America,
Yeah.
specifically the first session, day 2, which was, our first time on a road course. And it was my qualifying position was something well beyond what I expected to be able to achieve. And I think what I'm most proud of is not only the results that we were able to get, but is my ability to not let the pressure really get to me when I would get in a car and get lined up. Because I was for the one lap, they have like different run groups. Never in my life did I think that I was going to be in the first or second run group.
You might actually get sleep out of one lap if you're up there. What fun is that?
Well, we still did the team thing, so it was you know, all three of us together, hell or high water sort of thing.
Right.
But no, they competed very well too. And yeah, to have that first one result was kind of shocking and bewildering, to be honest. But then when I lined up for the afternoon earlier than I ever had, didn't really bother me. I was able to lock in and get focused and do what I wanted to do and move on from there. So I'm quite proud of how I performed there, and that was great. In terms of watching other people and helping them, Becky's driving continues to improve, and she's trying things that I'd never seen her have the confidence to try before.
That's awesome.
And she's really putting a lot of effort into her car. Wanting to kind of take the whole thing a little bit more seriously, not in terms of not having fun, but like she wants to perform better. She wants to go faster. And, she got to the point where I think she realized that in order to do that, it takes more time and more effort. And she's putting that time and effort in. So that's been good. Other than that, I'm trying to remember if it was Gingerman for Midwest Festival or maybe Mid Ohio. But we had one event where everyone was going faster than they ever had. Everybody was setting personal bests.
Right.
Or performing well or something. And it was just, not necessarily session after session, but like, man, they had some great performances. And it's very rare when, all of my drivers on the same weekend have good weekends, or everyone's happy with how they do and progress and what they're learning, and that it's all roses sort of thing. But that weekend, certainly had some bumps, but man, by and large, it was pretty exceptional, and that's fun. And I don't necessarily need thanks or like shout outs from the podium or anything like that, but at the end of a weekend, that that little like thanks again for everything you did. It's I had a lot of fun, and it's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna write that down somewhere and help keep me going.
Sounds like you're still a teacher at heart, Scott.
Yeah, Seth and I on our podcast, we kind of talked about that, and as I look back kind of on my life and what I've done and what I tend to lean towards anyway is, helping people do things that they've not done before, or helping people refine what they're doing, or, relating with people. And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep trying to do it.
Well, speaking of trying to do it, 2025 fell apart for the Fisher crowd.
We had talked about me doing some coaching for you guys, and I remember
you
reaching out a
coached
couple
every race
times.
that I was at, Scott. Every single race that I was at.
When I reached out a couple times and I didn't hear something back, I'm like, they've got to be having something going on. So I just kind of backed off
We
and
did.
let you guys do your thing.
Yeah.
It was a
2025 was a hard year for us.
That's what I've gathered.
So,
we're going with writing it off. Let's do 2025 part 2. Let's just do it again a little better this
yeah.
time. So
Take a
Yeah.
mulligan.
We actually didn't open our garage until to repair the car until August.
Wow.
that was a little before August. The race was in August, but yeah.
Yeah, we borrowed a car. We borrowed a truck because Bill had lost his mom
Hmm.
around Christmas last
Yeah.
year. And I think that we just didn't have the capacity for repairing the car because his mom was sick. Um, kind of leading up to that. You kind of deal with the holidays, and then like right after the first of the year is when things go. So the car was in the shop, getting straightened,
Mhm.
which came back fine, but I don't think we had the capacity to do anything with it. So, we end up getting a race truck. The race truck came back. A friend of ours that purchased it said, "Hey, why don't just don't even open it. Don't open the garage. The truck is ready. Just go take the truck." And even then, it just didn't feel real. So, it wasn't until like August to where we put the car back to. We opened up the garage, and I started getting the car ready, and we had it ready for the October race. Put back together. And then, of course, test runs, you had to, figure out what everything else. So going into 26, that was only the race that we did with the Honda. So going into 26
We
is
have
going to
ideas.
be, yeah, we're going to have a better year lined up. And even when we did that one race, our team wasn't put together well. It was just a hard year.
Well,
But so we're going to move it over to 26. We're going to
yeah.
be we're going to be hanging out with Scott.
Well, the team dynamics, I mean, it's one thing when you as individuals haven't done something in a
Hmm.
while. And
Hmm.
so like your level of focus and energy and polish of skills at that point just isn't there, let alone the interaction and teamwork with other people. Like I don't doubt that that was difficult.
Well, and even with that first race with the car, I mean, it wasn't so bad when you have somebody who's given you a car and you just bring in your junk, right? And you're setting up and then you're doing the race. And that's kind of different, but with all the prep and then the packing and when we were talking about how you were with juggling the balls and running on adrenaline, that's when I kept saying like it just felt like everything deflated this year. And
Sure.
I don't know if that's still part of grief or if that was part of just a shift when we weren't as active because we were kind of dealing with this, but trying to get that momentum back. That's what I was saying I was asking those same questions because it was relatable,
Hmm.
in a sense, like get the mojo back,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
have everybody back in their roles.
we could do a podcast series on grief.
Mm.
That's a wild topic in and of itself.
It,
But
it
but
takes
like
the
you,
wind out of the sails.
it's it forces you to look at yourself. Well, no, it does not force you. I'm going to take that back. It gives you the opportunity to look at yourself in the world in a very different lens.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
is traumatic on a personal level. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where from the outside grief can be a very selfish thing because it's this person that you loved and that you've spent time with who's died. Like it should be about them, but like it's kind of about you because it's your experience of that person
Mm-hmm.
that they are the ones who aren't going to be there, but you're the ones who's going to experience that absence, which
Mm-hmm.
is what a ghost in classic literature is. A ghost isn't a thing. A ghost is an absence.
Mm-hmm.
And so the haunting after, I mean, I'm getting kind of deep into it already here, but like it's the haunting after that's the part of the grief process that's kind of wild. And so, like you said, with the comparing your experience with mine, going racing and like being excited about it can't be a leftover activity. Like it can't be going to the racetrack with whatever leftover energy that you have is not going to be enjoyable.
No.
Mm-mm.
And
You know, and,
so
and it can be dangerous,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this year it just felt like going through the motions. I
Hmm.
mean, we were enjoying ourselves, but it was different. Everything just shifted.
And for a time that going through the motions can be what it needs to be. Just kind of
Hmm.
doing the batting practice and not really feeling it sort of thing, just continuing to do it may
Hmm.
have been the thing that will help get you into next season a
Hmm.
little bit easier.
we'll get there. You know why we're going to get there, Scott? Because we're going to work with you. We're going to drag you in, kicking and screaming, because, threaten you with a good time. I know.
Mhm.
It's fine. We're going to drag you into endurance racing, but you're going to help us. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the podcast where we talked about the Ross Bentley event that Vicky went to.
I
Vicky's
did.
actually looking forward to looking at data with somebody besides me.
Yeah, I've had discussions with Becky about uh your significant other and coaching and things like that. So
Yeah.
um yeah, having a different perspective is usually not a bad thing.
No,
Hmm.
it definitely helps because there's only so many things she wants to learn from me. It's like, I tended to be more sporty. She tended to be more artsy, and she's come over to the sporty side, and she's like tired of listening to me saying, "This is what you need to do." 'Cause-
Well, I came over to the sporty side, not being competitive, and then going into being competitive. So it it's not like I was brought up to say, what competitive is. I was the artsy girl,
Mhm.
so I think being competitive, you work up to having some skin layers built up for being that, and losses sometimes feel hard, and sometimes criticism feels a little hard. Or,
Mhm.
or it's not even delivered as criticism, it's just taken as criticism,
Sure.
because, and it's not my significant other's fault. It's just,
Can you
I,
say
I,
that? Can you say
I,
that again? I got to turn the
I,
recorder
I
on. One
didn't
sec.
grow up being a sport girl.
Mhm.
So being hit with the losses or toughening up, you know, um, things feel more personal.
I I think you and I could have some good conversations because I was actually the artsy one growing up as well.
Hmm.
Um, I like talking with the right crowd. I like talking about driving and racing as a creative endeavor.
Yes.
And that's, a good number of drivers are competitive people by nature.
Hmm.
I am as well, but there is an inherent creativity in flow and in skill building. Like just because you're creative doesn't mean you're going to be a good painter or a good musician. Like you have to practice, you have to build the skills, you have to build the mental fortitude to go into a music competition, right? To be able
Hmm.
to perform when you need to, when your
Hmm.
read isn't perfect and things like this. And I'm speaking
Hmm.
from personal experience. Um, and so a lot of that is applicable to racing as long as you can kind of tap into that a little bit.
Right. And I think that competitive for me is a fun thing. It's not a, 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 it's not every time I think about competition, I keep thinking about baseballs against teams, and there's this, this back and forth of, it can get a little aggro. That's not how I view competition. For me, competition is just like, boo-hoo, we're having a good time.
Mm.
I don't get angry about things, when I start going into competitive mode.
Good.
And I don't know if that is what a creative aspect is of it. I look at, I view it as, what is it? Carcraft.
Hmm.
I just view it all as carcraft and racecraft, and then
Right.
honing it more than I do the competition of it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
100%.
Okay. See, I think we're going to get along really well.
Think it'll be good. Yeah. The notion that the competition mindset has to be one particular thing, I think has long been a myth. That,
Hmm.
the idea that, when you're at the front, you have to be aggressive and you have to dive bomb and you have to force the issue and bumping and all this sort of stuff.
Hmm.
And again, if you don't watch F1, that's totally fine. But I think what happened in F1 this year was an interesting one, in that the driver who won the drivers' championship, Lando Norris, does not drive like four-time world championship winner Verstappen did.
Hmm.
Does not drive like Hamilton does. He drives like he does, and he's not terribly aggressive. He's was the most consistent this year, and so the idea that you have to be one way in order to improve or to do better, um, is far from the truth. And
Hmm.
so whenever people try to explain what I do in terms of like I just tell a driver what to do better, couldn't be farther from the truth. What a good coach, I believe, does is help to draw out of a driver the thought processes, skills that are currently there. And part of my skill and background is knowing what the next step is to helping a particular driver achieve the goals that they think that they want to get to.
Hmm.
And so there's a whole lot of interpretation. There's a whole lot of back and forth. Um, and from my previous profession, certainly into this one, questions are my trade far more than, really here you're doing this and it's not as good. Now, we can go into some of that when we're short on time and stuff, but more it's why are you doing what you're doing? And if you can explain that to me, I'm going to ask, well, what if you did this to prioritize that?
Right.
And then
Hmm.
we have that discussion. That's to me is what coaching is.
Well, I had just attended, the last thing I did was Ross Bentley's race academy,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of brought out some questions, and of course that had some availability to, like, I now have the capacity to accept data, in the learning process.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, and I've mentioned this before, it's just like when you're learning racing and you're doing racing, everything is like a fire hose. And
Can't be.
and then all of a sudden somebody's like, okay, now data. Well, yeah, I don't have the capacity for data right now. I'm still trying to deal with the fire hose. So, but now I have capacity for data. But there was a there was a couple questions they did. Why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm doing that, because this is how I learned it. And the reason why I learned it is because this happened. And then somebody told me this, and
Mm.
this is why I do it. So, um,
And a lot of things, I try to give a lot of instructors a lot of grace because
mhm,
I was one and I continue to develop myself as well as
mhm,
hopefully all of them. Um, and for a time, Well, let me back up. I think part of what makes a good instructor is lying to you. Is
telling you the story you need at that point.
Yes. Is like I know point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
and the intermediate steps along the way, you only need to know the first one or two. There's no
Mm-hmm.
point in me talking about steering the car with the brake when
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about what the flags mean. Those are
Mm-hmm.
two things that do not need to be discussed in the same meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to lie to you. I'm going to say, here's what you need to know right now. And
Mm-hmm.
they're very simple. They're very important. Very simple, very easy. Let's get them done.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's in, I'm going to let you know here's the next step. Here's what we're going to be working on. Then we're going to do that. And it's going to complicate that first thing just a little bit. So what I said was very simple, very easy. All of a sudden, but in these circumstances, you can do this. But you've got that skill to be able to complicate it now.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? There's something else we're going to add on to that next, but you didn't know that back then because I'm going to lie to you and I'm going to say this is very simple. This is very easy and straightforward. And I've learned this from some extraordinarily good professors and teachers along the way who have demonstrated that the track of knowledge from here to better or from here to professional or whatever a particular driver is trying to go for, that there is a step from here to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. And it's not nearly as ambiguous as a lot of drivers want to think that it is. That there's a lot of like magic and things that, you just go out there and you either have it or you don't. But there's some very fundamental basic skills that everybody can work on. It's just a uh, it's just a matter of figuring out how you think about it. So what we need to do next. And so when I listen to your podcast, I'm going to see if I can recall here is one of your things is that you were waiting until the car was settled.
You
Right?
yeah.
That's one of them.
That's one of them. Yeah.
And I remember listening to that podcast and hearing like your excitement around that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for a time, that was a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's to wait till the car was settled because maybe you didn't have the skills or awareness to be able to catch something
Mm-hmm.
if the car did. But now that you're there, it's become a hindrance. And so we're going to complicate it.
Right. See,
You make the car settle.
and that is what I'm having a hard time understanding. But now, see, but then this comes into carcraft. This
Mhm.
is understanding how to physically make your car and understand the car now. When before I was still in that learning process. Now I'm still in a learning process, but now it's like, let's force it.
You're
Now
always in the
we're
learning process.
forever in the learning process, but now we're going to go to the next level of now I need to figure out how to force my car to do what I want it to do and be proactive in it instead of reactive.
Yes.
So that is the language that we're going to be working on.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and that's something that I remember this past year with a couple of my longtime drivers. That's something we're
mhm,
really starting to focus on because they are very, very good, very quick drivers. They hold records at some places, and we are working on, right from here to here. You waited for the car to do this,
mhm,
knowing that it's going to do that. You waited
mhm,
until it did it before you did the next thing. You know it's
mhm,
going to do that here. Don't wait for it because by the
mhm,
time you wait, you're behind.
mhm.
And that's hard. But when it
That it's
happens,
a clincher.
yeah, but when it happens, you've got to log it in your brain. You've got to
Mhm,
replay it back. Remember
mhm,
this one time when I did X and
mhm,
Y at particular corner. Maybe I can apply that here in a slightly different way.
mhm. Yeah,
Sounds like we're going to have quite the year.
we are going to have quite the year.
It was exciting to hear because I know of after listening to your podcast for a while that you were having a bit of a plateau that it seemed like you just didn't know kind of how to break through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just always like kept banging up against, I don't like when this happens, or like, I'm much more comfortable in these kinds of cars and stuff. Like it's a lot of ceiling being put on
Mm-hmm.
your where you could go. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems like that event, which huge fan of. Um, and I could write a book on the things I think they did incredibly well there. Um, helped you break through that. And I think that's a testament to the style of um, coaching
Mm-hmm.
that event highlighted, and that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, there was a lot in that event that's a good way of putting it that I resonated with.
Hmm.
Um, and it also helped that the track was smaller and tighter.
Yep.
So the repetitions were faster and more consistent, but
And just more.
and just more. Yeah.
And that's something when we look at sim racing with several of my drivers, when we're looking at tracks to work on skills, we'll go to certain tracks for certain skills.
Hmm.
Because you're sitting in your living room and it doesn't really, like, the travel time's the same.
Hmm.
And so, you can go to some of these big tracks, but like it's a 2 minute 30 lap, and like, yeah, let's go to the 1 minute 20 lap. You'll get almost double the reps, and we can still work on this one thing.
Yep.
Hmm.
So sim racing does enable you almost to do more, because then we can put you in a type of car that's going to maybe make it a little bit harder to do this thing, but it's going to exacerbate the skill that we're trying to develop. And we can
Hmm.
put you on the tracks that are going to give you a lot of practice and probably be
Hmm.
frustrating at times.
Hmm.
But then we can jump in other cars at that same track to like work on your processing speed and stuff like that. So it just
Hmm.
accelerates and allows a lot more room for growth and development in a short time.
Yeah, that's going to be our winter project is getting the sim racer set up.
One of them.
Right, yeah, one of them. And
Mhm.
then getting the Honda because after you get it back from the shop and try to put everything back together, you're still kind of working out some kinks in it.
Yeah.
That was a kink race that we did.
Think we need to name it a
Yeah, but that's what it
slightly
was. We
different
had to
than
get the
that.
we,
gremlins
we
out.
we don't shame around here though, so
No,
No
no.
shame. So
Think there's another reference
that's
we can make with
fascinating that you were an artsy person. What did you do? What was your
um
artsies?
What did you
uh,
do, Scott?
what
What did
did
you
I do?
do?
I was a music player mostly. I
Oh.
always enjoyed, drawing and art and that sort of thing, but I was also a thespian for much of my kind of into college. But yeah, I was music heavily as well into college, bassoon in particular, and really enjoyed it.
So you're just by nature a creative. I call them creatives. You're kind of good at just that's your avenue.
Yes. Yeah, I had to I'm losing the word right now. I had to kind of take back a hold of that for myself a few years back. Is that oftentimes it's very easy for me to just like head down, do what I need to do, um, at work, take care of the family, blah, 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 all this stuff. But to see something as a creative act and to do something that I see as creative is incredibly important and life giving to me. And so if I look at my car as an art project of sorts, like to be creative with it, like that is fun.
Hmm.
Which is why like doing maintenance is the dullest thing I feel like I can do, because I don't see it as creative. It's just like fixing what was already there.
Hmm.
Um,
What
but
should be
it's
working? Why does it keep breaking?
it's an inevitability.
I
So
know.
yeah.
It has one job. One
Yeah.
job. You're a fuel pump. Pump the fuel. That's all I'm asking. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. sometimes I feel like I need to take a step back because it's almost like if you don't do something like that, you're losing a sense of self to a point because it is a valued it's who you are.
Right.
And to completely step away from it, you're just like, I don't feel like myself anymore. Like I got to go back and do something, you
Well,
know.
I think it goes back to the sustainability conversation that we had. Is for a
Hmm.
time you can do everything, and
Hmm.
for a time often we have to because that's the only way that we can do the thing. But like my good friend who I raced with for several years, he hated prepping his car. Like could not stand to stay on top of the maintenance and work. It was just draining the enjoyment out of the whole racing experience. And so
Hmm.
he just started giving it to shops to take care of, and it was a lot more money than he sometimes wanted to spend, but he was able to enjoy the hobby for what it was.
Hmm.
And like like myself, tearing open transmissions and differentials ain't me. I'm I draw the line at trying to figure out lash and all that stuff. I'm just don't have time or really the desire to want to learn to do it well, and I would want to do it well. And wiring. Early on in my K swap, I knew that I didn't have the time to be able to dive into that deep, deep world and to do it as well as I would want to have it done. And so I gave it to somebody who I knew was good at wiring, and it was expensive and worth it because I've not had to touch the wiring since. It just, I feel bad because like what he did to my car was amazing, and I just don't have to think about it. Those are my favorite parts on a car, are things that are done beautifully, with skill and
Right.
just work race after race. It's great.
Hmm.
You need some part of the car you don't have to worry about.
And again, every year I'm able to get more and more of the car um, reliable and more serviceable. That's the other part. Like it's very easy to build a car, but to make it serviceable in a quick and efficient manner takes a level of thought that if you're just like trying to slave away and you're just trying to get stuff done, you don't have time to do.
Yeah.
And so, like on the Miata, putting a dry brake on the clutch between the clutch master and the slave cylinder saves me 45, half an hour, probably half an hour realistically of time in dropping the trains and putting it back in.
Yeah.
Just don't have to do it.
Easily, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The have to do's versus the should do's, right?
Yep. It's that quadrant of urgent versus important.
Mm-hmm.
That it's the non-urgent important things that often go overlooked, but those are the things that are make sustainability uh, a possibility.
You know what that means we need to do, Scott? We need to make putting the data and the video in the car a
Mhm.
higher quadrant activity as opposed to, we didn't get there.
That is why I think so many different data systems are out there,
Mm-hmm.
because there are so many very good data acquisition systems,
Yes.
but many of them make accessing the data or video a nightmare, or at least like put one or two steps in between you and it.
At least.
And on a busy weekend, or even a weekend that doesn't go maybe a little according to plan, it's that extra step. And if it keeps you from doing it, do something else.
Yep. And sometimes that something else is much more money,
It can be.
but it's better than a little money getting zero use.
Yes.
I think the multiple with the zero gets weird, but I'm pretty sure I can do the math.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's a whole like do it right the first time, but you
hmm
don't know what you don't know early.
for
And
sure.
unfortunately, most of us don't listen to the advice of people who have done it for longer. So,
I think that's where the buy once, cry once thing came from.
yeah, yeah, I could talk about shocks for a minute too, but you know, I bought some shocks from my Miata that were well regarded in the public, and because I didn't think that more expensive shocks were necessarily worth it, or it's just a lot of money.
How much better could it be, right?
Oh, it turns out a lot better. A
Yeah.
lot better. So, but again, you don't know what you don't know.
Measurably better, I believe is the word.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Scott, do we want to get into goals now or do we want to do that later?
Well, I guess my question would be how much have you both thought about goals for
That's all
next
I
year?
think about, Scott. That's literally all I think about. Vicky, on the other hand, yeah, she's smarter than me. She has better things to think about.
What do you think, Vicky? Have you actually put some thought into it?
My goal this year is trying to figure out how to, number one, truly manage the BMW, and two, um, forcing the car to do what I wanted to do, to be a proactive driver. Um, I think I am definitely getting better at the end of the straightaway, which was always a challenge for me, is to not so much coast in there, but try to time it better. And I think that is an area also that still needs work because I think part of the problem is the language of what people are telling me that I need to do because it's conflicting. Some people are saying just slam on the brakes at the very end so you don't, um, so you can make the turn. You go in there full speed and turn, and some people say, no, 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 you really do got to kind of like let off a little bit before you go. So I think part of it is going to be language,
Okay.
and understanding, okay, this is exactly what you need to do when you're at the end of the straightaway. This is when you need to let up. This is when you need to actually going in there properly because part of it that I'm experiencing now is understanding what I have learned, what I have been told, and how that actually plays out because I think I'm playing it out differently.
Mm.
So I think that's some of that is part of my hang up. Before at the end of the straightaway was a self-preservation, but now I'm much more comfortable going into the end of the straightaway. So now I want to make sure that I'm going into the end of the straightaway properly before I make my turns. That has always been an issue for me. I don't have a ton of fear on the track when I'm racing. So at least this point now, it's going to be based on car craft and actually trying to do the right thing until I do get that uncomfortable feeling again. So, and then of course, being proactive. We're breaking old habits.
Yeah. So there's a lot in there. Big one I heard was being proactive.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I would probably have some questions with. You said that you want to do something with the BMW. Could you rephrase that for me?
Yeah. So the BMW, is a bit more powerful of a car than I am accustomed to driving because I have a Miata, I have a Honda, and I have the race truck.
Mhm.
The BMW is going to be a lot more powerful, a lot quicker, um, and it's going to be a different beast to manage.
Mhm.
So I think that is also going to be one of the vehicles I'd like to be driving this year,
Mhm.
beyond just the Miata, because I'll probably be doing both. But I think most likely I have to decide if I'm going to be focusing all the training and learning and how I'm going to be doing that. In what vehicle? That's that I have to figure that out
All of
because
them.
Do you
I
think that would be best done in one vehicle?
I don't I don't I think that I think I can be I think I can do more than one vehicle.
Here's my thought. And even with your goal of being proactive, I think
Hmm.
what we can do is want to attach some very specific measurable things to that. Is
Hmm.
what's it look like? Like at the end of a weekend, what can we point to in saying that this was Vicky being more proactive? And what can we say about that going into the weekend and then after the weekend? So like being proactive, could that mean using the throttle to settle the car?
Yes.
Could that mean using your brake application or release to help not only turn the car but plant the car? Could
Yes.
could it mean using your steering timing and speed in transitions to get the car turned and settled in quick complexes? So there are things I think that we could like concretely put, and again that there would be a hierarchy of this for sure, depending on
Hmm.
the track and the car and things like that,
Right.
of things that we can specifically work on towards that goal, but that would be a lot more measurable, because the whole notion of being more proactive, that could be very vibe space. Yeah, I felt like I was more proactive, but if we don't put something a little bit sharper on it, something that you can check a box on, that then we can really know, even if it's
Hmm.
data or video, whatever it is, or like see the pants, but it's like something that you can point to and say, this is better and this is how I did it.
Yes.
It's the how that then we can start taking from weekend to weekend.
And it goes back to breaking down that one decision I had on turn five that we had discussed at New Jersey, which was waiting for the car to settle. And if when somebody just said, "Why are you waiting?" And when they said that, I'm like, because that's what you do.
That was an excellent question.
Right.
Very good question.
So,
And
uh,
and here's my thought when you
right.
said that, what car should I focus on? And I think in doing, hopefully getting some more sim racing work done, I think what you can start to find is that the car is the paintbrush.
Okay.
It's Some are gonna come more naturally to you, but they're all going to be doing the same thing differently.
Okay.
And so part of the thing that's good to build into you, into drivers, whoever, is not only like what you're trying to do, but to do that immediate feedback. When I do this, this happens. Now, do I want that to happen or do I need something else to happen? And so
Okay.
immediately it should trigger almost like this kind of like little tiny flow chart that, okay, I went into this corner, I released the brake, and then I had to wait to get on throttle out of the corner, and I just had a bunch of steering all the way out.
Hmm.
That suggests to me that you came off of the brake too soon, car didn't get rotated enough, and that you just had to wait and wait and wait and wait and straight away. Good. So immediately it's I need to get the car to rotate more on entry.
Okay.
Everything else goes away. You can then focus on the next thing.
Hmm.
And so that these are these immediate things that we can help to bring into your awareness while you're on the track. And so not only are you coming with an increased awareness after a session to say, hey, I did this. What should I do next? But while you're out on track, you're self-assessing with these very specific things that you notice, feel, or you want the car to do, and it won't do. And then immediately, next lap, all right, let's do this then. And you're trying, but you're getting that immediate feedback and you're looking for these very specific things depending on what we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
That you can be out there on track trying, and which is going to speed up the development, speed up your awareness, speed up the quality of feedback that we get from you as well. So there's all sorts of stuff that can be done there. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense.
Okay.
It does.
It's a bit ethereal, but I just
No, no, it does. It absolutely makes sense. Um, and that it just brings me back to working with another coach, a friend of ours. And we were using the AIM system, but it was I think the first time that I was having data used. So driving in, she would pull it, put it on a computer, read it, and say, "This is what you should be doing here, and this is what I want you to do on the track in this spot.
Mhm.
Try this." And I would go out there and do that, and the results were immediate, like immediate. So I guess the stuff that I'm doing now is just, what I think I know, but I think if somebody's going to be there to tell me that try this now, okay, we could do that.
Exactly.
So,
Well, and not only to do that, but to point out what you're doing now is causing this and this and this.
yes.
Because what we're doing in the car is for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If it's what we hope to be doing is something completely different, but we're doing these things for a reason because
Mm-hmm.
we think that it's supposed to be doing X.
Mm-hmm.
But through video, through data, through feedback, whatever it is, if we can point to it, say, all right, so when you do this, this is what the car is doing. And hopefully you as driver, it's like, yeah, I do feel that. So it's like now, kind of big picture, there are a few different ways that we can change that. We can do X, Y, Z, and maybe A.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular circumstance, because of the shape or because of the elevation change or wheel to wheel or whatever it is, they're probably going to narrow our choices down to this one or this one.
Mm-hmm.
Or even you as a driver, like how do you carry more speed into a corner? For somebody who's nervous about braking too late, telling somebody to brake later ain't going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the options we just clear off and say, all right, we've got 3 more things that we can do, work into it. And eventually, if you want to try braking later, or if that's like our only option, like in some distant future, we can deal with that. But
Mm-hmm.
until then, there are things that we can do.
There you go.
Sounds like it's going to be a fun season.
I think it's going to be a fun season.
It's a very pretty Miata behind your in your background too. It's very shiny.
It is very shiny.
I
It
get
is.
those. I get
She's
those
not into bump
Instagram.
drafting yet, so
No.
I get those Instagram and like Facebook 7, 8 years ago thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at my Miata and it's got the black hard top and it's just red, no air dam. It's just red
Mm-hmm.
on the suspension. And my God, it is pretty. And I definitely ruined it.
Yeah, this is right now just the training car
Yeah.
at the moment, but it is full spec. Um, so I'm having a blast driving it. I did get the it's better to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow when I went to
Mhm.
Ross. But I gotta say I was having so much fun with it. I really, really was. Like there was no grip left on the tires
Yeah.
by the
Fair.
time I got done.
What tires are you using right now? Just curious.
for that event it was the RS4s. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know how long it takes for an RS4 to go away. That tire was done, 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 done.
Pretty
It
impressive.
it it already had a couple short tracks on it. Nothing that was major, but um, By the time I got done that event, it was worn out.
But
Like,
at
I'm
some
not
point we can
sticking
talk.
anymore.
Yeah. At some point we can talk about Miata setup because I've learned an
Yeah.
awful lot over the years.
Oh, that's gonna be in the addition to data, because now I'm gonna be able to have the capacity for it. Yeah, but built by Planet Miata. So
You know, Scott, I anticipate this being the first ever time that she will drive the Miata with the spec slicks because she's never driven slicks.
I haven't driven slicks.
Are they using it's it's the SMs, right? The Hoosier SMs?
I think so.
Yep. Yeah. They're I remember back in the GLTC days, that was an easy way to get a decent set of used slicks, is you just look for, one with like 4 to 6 heat cycles on them and swat them off the people.
Get two more out and then you're good.
Yep. Out of it.
She has a few sets sitting in the garage just waiting for her to
Mhm.
get to the level where she wants to try them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's silly. I mean, we've got Becky has 2 sets of wheels for her race car. She's got 2 sets of wheels for her daily winter versus,
Hmm.
summer.
Yep.
I've got 4 sets for my Miata, as well as the extra set of wheels and tires for my mom's Miata. It is very stupid down there.
Miatas are fun. They're just fun.
They are fun.
They're a fun car to drive. And the BMW is I did take the BMW out.
You've
Um,
driven the BMW, sweetie. You keep saying like it's this new thing. You've driven
no,
the
no, 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 but
Deadpool car.
yeah, but the Deadpool car, this, yeah, I know. I know we did the Deadpool car, but this one has a lot more gadgetry in it. And Bill keeps saying it's not as quick as what the Deadpool car was. But I only did the Deadpool car. That was fun in Carolina. Um, it I guess it's just a different beast, but it is quicker. Like
Sure.
what I'm finding is that I want to be faster. And the BMW, I mean, the Miata is a fun car to drive, and I really, really enjoy it. I really enjoy training on it, and I really enjoy having it. Um, but I think when I'm endurance racing, I want to go faster.
Yep.
It's bothering me that I'm on the straightaway and people are driving past me. It bothers me to no end now. But I can catch them on other parts of the track. But it just really bothers me now.
Well, as you've experienced, it's much, much easier to pass somebody going straight than it is into the
Yes.
braking zone or in the corners. And that
Yes.
is mental bandwidth
Mm-hmm.
percent right there. And so if you
Mm-hmm.
can have a car with more power to make some time up on the straightaway, that's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit longer and more stable under braking and into corners,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it frees up your brain to think about all sorts of other things and to relax. And all of a sudden you'll get out of that car not as tired.
So the straightaways are for relaxing for me. I mean, still huffing, still pushing, still huffing, but
Yep.
that's a good way of putting it.
Well, just like going into braking zones, how we talk about the beginning of braking, into
Mm-hmm.
braking, turn, like all those sorts of points. When you're on the straightaway, you should have reference points. You should have
Mm-hmm.
a look in your mirrors point. You
Mm-hmm.
should have a breathe point,
Mm-hmm.
open your hand point, roll your shoulders, like all that stuff. Look at your gauges.
Mm-hmm.
Straightaways are time to do work. Now it's different work and it should be more relaxing. Um, but it's just different work.
I never had it. I do that anyway, but I never had anybody explain it to me that way. Because
If
that's when I release the hands,
mhm.
check on my mirrors, figure out what's going to happen for the next set of turns all the way going through. It's a re the straightaways are the reset.
Yes,
It'd be
yeah,
nice if you mentioned gauges in there, by the way. Just,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Well, and it's nice. I've been able to learn over my time that what we think and how we think can be directly influenced by what our body does.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes people will say, well, you just need to calm down or you just need to relax. And you can't think your way into relaxing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But there are very simple, very clear things that we can do with our bodies that physiologically calm us down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that should be encouraging for anybody who has a hard time being overwhelmed on the track or stressed in certain circumstances, is that there are things that you can do that will relax you. And there are things that you are doing that is not making your life easier. And once you know these couple like tricks here and there are ways that you can develop your body, your eyesight, your breathing, your ergonomics, kind of all this stuff. Like there are things that you can make it do to mentally be in a car and drive fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not difficult stuff. It just takes time and attention. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So much, Scott. So much.
Oh, it's always something.
No, that's fine. The my goal is so much easier.
What's your
I just want to get better again. I've been stuck.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. And I'm curious because I know you're a thinker, as am I.
Too much, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm curious what we can do to put you in a I think really like we need to like really shake up your experience of driving.
Yep.
Like I think the sim would be an easy way to do that. Like I want you to get into a Delara F2 car and I want
Yeah.
you to drive on the sim.
The only Delara F2 car I'm ever going to fit in is a sim, so that's fine.
But like trophy trucks, go drive a trophy truck around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Like, go do something weird to like, this is so goofy and so weird, but like, boy, if I just floated into the bus stop with just a bare bit of brake, I can get the rotation on. Like, to bring it back, but I think we got to like yank you out of whatever you've been doing just to do something different.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that looks like for you yet.
Well, we got time. Got a whole year plus a few days.
I know.
It'll be
I
fun.
know. Been getting into sim more recently now that our years started to wind down a bit, so it's good.
It's a lot warmer on the sim than it is out on the track right now.
It's true, especially up here.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to break out the 185 Blizzax or something.
What is your temperature up there right now?
It was 6 this morning. I think we got up into the low 20s today.
We're at 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get down to the like low teens tonight, and then like maybe low mid 20s again tomorrow. But we're looking maybe getting above freezing at some point this week, so we'll see about that.
Awesome. All right, sir. We got a lot to do. I think we're going to we'll just call this a part one of many. Who knows how many we'll have of these?
Yeah,
Whether we record them or not.
Nowhere to find me.
We do. Where would people find you, Scott? I love when people are the host of podcasts. They always give me exactly what I need.
There you go. Easiest way is robertson-racing.com. That's the website, kind of shows the different coaching that I've got. I don't have the sim coaching on there, but that's a thing. Basically, we do private instruction where we come to you and you are our only concern on those days. We've got coaching where we're basically at an event and we split our time and resources among a few different drivers. We've got remote coaching. Then we do car setup for people as well. I've got a few merch type things if you're into that. We're going to be making cat and dog shirts because now that we have a big fluffy cat, Becky really wants to make like a branded cat shirt. So she's been playing with that recently.
I'm still a fan of my My one lap of America leggings idea.
Yes. Yeah, we do. We do need to do that. And then Instagram is Robertson Racing. And then Facebook is Robertson Racing Miata. And YouTube is Robertson Racing.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on again, Scott. Don't forget you have a podcast. I mean, just in case.
Seth is gonna punch me so hard. Yeah, track walk. We do it every Monday. It's a great way for Seth and I to continue our friendship and talk about this silly thing that we all do and stuff. So, yep, that's on Mondays. I've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years now, something like that.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And it's the only racing podcast where I will 100% admit we couldn't do it the way you guys do it. It's a totally different podcast than anything else out there. In a good way.
Yeah, we did it because it's something that we were very interested and had a lot of energy around, and nobody else was kind of tackling it in the way that we wanted to. And so we're like, does this mean we need to? And so that's why we started it.
Well, you either need to or somebody else needs to learn how to do it. There's just nothing out there like yours. So it's always fun to listen to. And out of respect for your podcast, that's why we shifted from Mondays to Tuesdays.
That's very generous of you. Thank you. But yeah, next year I'm gonna be I don't want to give anything away, but I'm gonna be doing something next year that nobody anywhere near our realm of motorsports does. And I'm very excited about it and to be able to offer that to people if they're interested. So I'll probably be talking about that more around March time.
I was gonna say, I have a guess. I think I know.
Maybe
not. Maybe
not.
I'll be a subject.
Possibly.
An experimental data point. Who knows?
Possibly.
Indeed. Well, Scott, this is very exciting and really gets me motivated for 2026 and beyond. And I can't wait to get back behind the wheel and have some fun.
That's a great place to start. It's being excited about it.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be. Might as well be me.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. Appreciate you both. Thank you.